Morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Namaste Experience. We are here on this beautiful Monday morning. So happy to join, which is, of course, what we do here every day. We join in the single intention of remembering that only love is. And anything that is not, is not. Is it really that simple? I think it is. Love is, and anything that isn't, we don't have to worry about. We don't have to concern ourselves with, try and work through. We just simply allow the truth to take hold through our devotion, through our love, through our sharing, through our joining. And so that is why we are here. Vicky is still away on family business, so we'll just kind of see where this takes us. I do have a parable that I want to share. The first thing I'll say that it was a very busy weekend here at Namaste Village. Those of you who live here know we had a big, beautiful Passover service last night. I heard that was fantastic. Of course, Saturday we had the memorial for our dear brother Jeff, and we started our memorial garden just over here to the side, where we spread some of his ashes. And I was thinking about Jeff, as I'm sure we all have been, remembering his pretty amazing, pretty interesting, childish self. And one of the things that Jeff used to say about himself was that he was walking the headless path. How many of you heard him say it? He even had a picture up near his room where it was a photograph of him, but he had somehow cut the head out and made it look normal somehow. The point being, and he was such a beautiful example of this, is we can't think our way to heaven. Our intellect is only good enough until it realizes that it is not the way, it is not the path. It is only when it surrenders and allows the heart, the love, all of the devotion to take over. It's only then that we begin to be lifted and to ascend. So Jeff talked a lot about the headless path. And I was thinking about that when I wrote this parable. And it's one of those, well, I think this is true for all of these parables. I never really know where they're going. I don't sit down and map it out first or outline anything. I just let it take me. And sometimes I'm surprised by where it ends up. And this is an example of this. I think I can see clearly what it was for now, but in the moment, it was a bit surprising. So here we go. That evening during satsang, a young man who had lived at the ashram for nearly a year stood up and said, "Mother, there is a famous guru who has come to this area. And though he offers you great praise, he teaches what he calls the headless path to God. His teachings are all focused on loosening the attachments of the mind until there are no thoughts to separate one from the eternal knowledge of our oneness with all that is. Is this a practice you would recommend, or is it something we should avoid?" Mother smiled and said, "Here is a parable that will help you understand my feelings about this teaching. Once upon a time, in a vast and ancient forest, there stood a towering tree, its branches reaching toward the heavens and its roots delving deep into the earth. This tree was known far and wide for its magnificence, and pilgrims from all corners of the world traveled to seek its shade and its wisdom. Now, nearby, there flowed a clear and tranquil stream, its waters pure and life-giving. And nestled among the roots of the great tree, there lived a humble frog. Day and night, the frog would meditate upon the nature of existence, seeking enlightenment beneath the shelter of the tree. One day, as the frog sat in deep contemplation, a wise old turtle ambled by. Curious, the turtle asked the frog, "Why do you sit here, dear friend, beneath this magnificent tree?" The frog, seeing his eyes closed in meditation, replied, "I seek to transcend my limitations, to dissolve into the vastness of the universe, and to become one with the cosmic consciousness." The turtle nodded thoughtfully and said, "But my dear friend, have you not noticed the stream beside you? Its waters mirror the infinite sky above, reflecting the very essence of existence. Perhaps instead of seeking to transcend, you might find enlightenment by embracing the world around you." See, this is the part that I was surprised by, embracing the world around you. That's usually a different direction that we go here. So I was like, I just wrote that. I wonder where that came from. Well, let's see. The frog pondered the turtle's words deeply, and in that moment, he opened his eyes to the beauty of the world surrounding him. No longer did he seek to escape his earthly existence, but rather he embraced it fully, realizing that true enlightenment lay not in the absence of thoughts, but in the presence of a heart filled with love and compassion. And so, dear seekers, Mother said, remember this: like the frog beneath the great tree, do not be swayed by teachings that promise to lead you beyond the realm of thought. Instead, embrace everything around you, for it is within the tapestry of life that the true essence of existence is woven. With her parable complete, Mother's gentle gaze swept across the assembly, her words echoing in the hearts of all who listened. So, as I said, I was surprised that the message that our character of Mother was delivering was to embrace the world. Now, we've never taught to reject the world, because even that would make the illusion that we hold in our own mind real. So we're not here to reject anything. We're simply here to look through. We're simply here to see what cannot necessarily be seen with certainly our human eyes, or our mental capacity, or all the things that we rely upon. There's something deeper that we're called to gaze upon, to look upon, to live in a world beyond this world, which is the world that I truly want. So, I mean, we might call that heaven. We could say that heaven is around us every moment. And that would be true. In fact, right before the session, I decided to just open up A Course in Miracles, and I came to probably what is my very favorite lesson, lesson 188. The peace of God is shining in me now, right now. So let me read the first paragraph here to begin, because I think this is going to give us a little bit more insight into the parable. It starts with these amazing words: why wait for heaven? Why wait? What are we waiting for? Are we waiting to die? This is what we've all been told. Well, after you stop breathing and your heart stops beating and you start to decay, that's when you'll know heaven. I wonder where that idea came from. I wonder where that concept was born, because it certainly doesn't make any sense to me now, only because I have felt and known that heaven is all around me. So why would I wait? What is there to wait for? Especially when we're in a community like this and we can look into each other's eyes and we can see it shining right there. So why, here we go. Why wait for heaven? Those who seek the light are merely covering their eyes. Those who seek the light are merely covering their eyes. The light is in them now. And here, this may be one of the most important sentences in the whole course. Enlightenment is but a recognition, not a change at all. It is but a recognition of what is and will always be who you are. The light has come. Light is not of this world. The light that we're seeking is not of this world. We associate light with the sun and the light that we see around us, but there is a deeper source of light, which is what we are truly called to, what we long for, and that is not of this world. Yet you who bear the light in you are alien here as well. See, this is what we begin to realize the more we open to that inner light, is that we are alien in the world of separation. We are alien in a world of competition. And deep down, we all know this. Deep down, we all feel that this is not who I really am. I'm not here just to compete to survive. I'm not here just to try and make my mark in the world. There's something so much deeper that each one of us is called to. Okay. The light came with you from your native home. So this light came with you from heaven and stayed with you because it is your own. It is the only thing you bring with you from the one who is your source. Boom. Right there. It is the only thing you bring with you from the one who is your source. It shines in you because it lights your home and leads you back to where it came from. And you are at home. Why? Because the peace of God is shining in me now. The peace of God is shining in me now. The peace of God is shining in me now. The peace of God is shining in me now. Let's do that again. The peace of God is shining in me now. The peace of God is shining in me now. The peace of God is shining in me now. The peace of God is shining in me now. Right now. Right now, the light is shining in you. And when we begin to recognize and feel and be lifted by that light, maybe this is what Jeff understood, because this is when the head starts to dissolve, or the mind, the intellect, begins to lose its reference. Did you hear that? It loses its reference. You see, the intellect needs a reference point to maintain its control or its dominance or what it believes its role to be. Its reference point is always the world of the ego or the world of form, how to navigate. And it's that navigation that it feels, because it is a big part of its role to navigate through time and space, but it has decided that time and space is your reality. But it is not your reality. And so as we begin to be lifted and we realize that the peace of God is shining in me now, then that intellectual part of us begins to fade, the headless path. And we find ourselves in a way just sort of wandering open. There's an openness that we feel, and there probably will be, at times at least, a feeling or a need to grab hold, because we're so used to the dominance of the mind, the intellectual part of us leading the way. And when we realize that that's beginning to fall back, we don't need that anymore. There are going to be times where we're going to say, wait a minute, come back here. We're going to grab hold of it again, and we're going to try and pull it in. We're going to try and pull in those intellectual reference points. And my only advice to you, and maybe this is what Jeff understood, my only advice is let it go. Just rest in this open field. It's like Rumi said, out beyond every thought of right doing and wrong doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. That's where we're truly at home. So I know that in one way or another, all of you have been feeling that dissolve, have been feeling that sense of just relaxing, where the mind begins to open up to such a point that you realize, I don't even need this anymore. I'm going to do whatever I need to do in the moment. There will be an automatic response. I don't have to worry about being a bowl of jello in the world where I'm just not going to know anything or know what to do. I'll always be appropriate. But the more I expand in my awareness of what is, which is love, and live there, the more open this field becomes, the less constricted my mind becomes, and the sweeter my experience becomes. So I'm going to invite Calico in here in a second. So Calico, you can get yourself ready, because I know one of the things that Calico talks a lot about is the mind training part of this, so that can happen. The mind training, which is what the workbook in the course is for, is simply to convince you to let go. Is to convince you to release your tight grip on what you think is real, what you think you need, and trust. Once again, we're at the lesson, I am as God created me. And if I am truly as God created me, I don't need to worry about anything. I just need to relax and loosen my grip. Let all of those other things that have tried to control my life dissolve so I can enter into that field of infinite possibility. But it does begin with that training of the mind so that we can release that grip. So with that, Calico, I'm going to turn it over to you. Oh, hold on one second, Calico. There you go. You can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Thanks, James. Yeah, there's a headless path. I was actually with Jeff when he caught on to it. And it's basically just a way of looking at the world that you focus so much on whatever it is that you're focusing on. And it doesn't require sight, sound, smell. It's really to just be with whatever you're looking at, and then look at your thoughts around what you're looking at. And I mean, it's a very useful tool to just get clear on what you're thinking, because most people don't have a clue of what they're thinking. And when you start seeing what you're thinking, it can be pretty horrifying. Usually not peace, love, and, here I am, babe. It's just, there's a lot of judgments. And I know Jeff really took on to the headless way. I think he more just liked the bizarreness of it than anything else. Oh, Jeff, love you. Anyway, you know, I was just sitting here thinking of, I was actually thinking of Jeff and just how he did struggle with fear. He definitely struggled with fear. And towards the last part, when he was still in form, I just kept sending him emails, you know, particularly when he moved into hospice. It's like, God, Jeff, you know, you're never going to have the absolute delight of being in hospice, but once usually in your life. Use it. You want ice cream? Ask for ice cream. They'll give it to you. If you want to go sit in the sun, ask. They'll take you in the sun. It's really the first time in our lives that really everything is taken care for. And all we have to do is ask for it. And Jeff had a hard time asking for stuff. And that was, you know, one of the last conversations I had with him. It was really about just, you know, not judging anything that you might want, because there's nothing in it. Just don't have any outcomes in mind that you're going to get it. But once you go into hospice, I must say, if you have a desire, speak it and it will come true. Now, that's probably the only time in our lives that this will happen. And that's why I just kept telling Jeff, nothing to fear. The other thing I really like to remind everyone, when people drop their bodies, they haven't gone anywhere. They really have not gone anywhere. Every time we think of them in our minds, they're with us again. And that's usually the way it was when they were alive also. You'd think about them and they were alive. But then we have this big judgment of when someone drops their body, they're somehow gone. But the Course in Miracles is quite clear. Jesus is very clear. I love his clarity. We are eternal, not the body, the mind. So the mind that we're using right now to sit in the Zoom room is the same mind that is eternal, not going anywhere, always with us. And it's, you know, Jeff is just free form now. But I still hear him. I know, you know, James said something funny about his pizza at the memorial, and I had a similar, you know, Jeff always loved Kahlua, but he liked putting it in a wine glass in the community fridge, and it would always spill. And it was just, and we're clearing, you know, I mean, it's just, he was funny in form, and he's still funny in my mind. So I love that we had the memorial for Jeff. In my mind, he really hasn't gone anywhere. He's very much alive. So thank you for this. Perfect.
Thank you for reminding us of that. And by the way, you sparked something that I think is really beautiful. When you said that we don't go anywhere when we drop our body. And the only thing I want to add to that is we go everywhere. You don't go anywhere when you drop the body. You go everywhere. You expand into everything. Every moment, every holy instant, you're released. And that's, you know, we could look at our brother Jeff, we could look at anyone, and we could look at ourselves right now. You see, the body, it seems to be holding that back. It isn't. The body, it's the only illusion we have to let go of is the idea that my body is somehow, or my intellect is somehow holding me back from that everywhere. And so this expansiveness and this dissolving is just reminding us that we can expand in every direction in every moment. If we stop relying upon the ego's reference point. Remember, the ego, the intellectual mind, has to have a reference point. And if we let that dissolve, the reference point being, this is who I am, this is where I am, because this is where my body is, let that dissolve. You don't have to die. You don't have to drop your body to get there. That's what those first few words in that lesson mean. Why wait for heaven? Why not right now? Why not go everywhere right now? Why not expand into everything right now? Does that sound like something you would like? I mean, what a great way to start off our week, by thinking that that's something we can do right now. There's only one thing holding me back. Me. I'm the only one that's holding me back from everything. And it just gets to the point where we say to ourselves, why would I continue to hold the holy, perfect child of God in this illusion of guilt when it's no longer, well, it was never required or needed, except in my own mind. But the more that all that's dissolving is guilt, by the way. Guilt is the only thing we let go of because it's never claimed us. So let go. And to this we say, Amen, 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 y punto. Thank you, everyone. So good to have you here. We love you so much. Namaste.